So our presentation, or our basis for our presentation was around agile culture, change and negativity. And we chose kind of negativity to change as our kind of main theme. So our title, Increasing Employee Engagement for Effective Communication. So what is it? So we know that good communication is the foundation of employee engagement. And we know that our people leaders have the ability to influence staff negativity during change. So we also have a video.
Well, we'll just carry on with this because we've got the same technical issues as the first group. Oh, no. Maybe not. Okay, we'll carry on. There's often a lot of resistance against change.
You like the Jimmy Kennedy?
No resistance here.
Go on with it, okay. All right. Just follow my lead. Don't forget. All right, come in. So, corporate just said that I don't want to. Oh, thank you. Pam, can you come in here for a second? Just have a seat. I was going to call you in anyway. You know, Ryan. As you know, there's going to be downsizing. And you have made my life so much easier in that I am going to have to let you go first.
What? Why?
Why? Well, theft and stealing.
Stealing? What am I supposed to have stolen?
Post-it notes.
Post-it notes?
Yeah, God.
What are those worth, like 50 cents?
50 cents. Yeah, you steal 1,000 Post-it notes at 50 cents a piece, and you know you've made a profit margin. You know, go run us out of business, Pam.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I can't believe this. I mean, I've never even stolen as much as a paperclip, and now you're firing me.
But the best thing about it is that we're not going to have to give you any severance pay. Because that is gross misconduct, and they'll just clean out your debt. I'm sorry. You an ex-punk! Surprise! It's a joke! We were joking around! See? Okay, he was in on it. He was my accomplice. And and we were showing the new guy around, kind of giving him the feel of the place. So, we totally got you.
You're a jerk!
I don't know about that.
So now that you've seen what not to do, we're going to show you what you can do to engage your employees through change and prevent negativity through communication channels.
Too fast, we're talking about change, and there's a lot of resistance about change, and you know every individual likes to stay grow, it's the comfort zone. But there's a lot of external factors or the external environment that drives change. So before we go to our journey that supports the change management, I'll just try to give you a bit of a background on why we need to change. Like I said before, there's the external environment that often drives the need for change for business. We just don't change for the sake of change. So it could be political driven, new taxes, new labour laws, aviation agreements, open skies, even the ownership of the government of the airline can have a huge impact. That could be an economic reason, fuel rising costs, labour costs, taxes, goods and services, and social impact. Society is changing, the fabric is changing. We're targeting different demographics nowadays. There's new emerging markets with disposable incomes. There's all these factors that influence how we do things. Could be technological, could be artificial intelligence, IT, and look at how we implemented the new structure of the check-in using IT. Environmental, one of the big draws for New Zealand is the clean green image, and in New Zealand supports that with environmental sustainability, and that's all influences how we do things as well. It also could be legal, how we do the collective bargaining and labour laws and occupational safe and healthy. All those things influence how we do things and the need for change. But also the market that we operate in. What is our competitive strategy? Is it cost or is it differentiation? And all these factors define how we define our strategy, define a mission and vision we have to get ahead in the future. And it's important that the vision is articulated to everyone so that they feel empowered and part of the journey. And change is only successful if everybody at an individual level is accepting of that change and supports it. So that's why we come up with this board based on the EDGAR principle, and it's written there on the board. It's EDGAR stands for awareness, the need for change, the desire to support change, the knowledge of how to change, ability to demonstrate skills and behaviours, and the reinforcement to make change stick. So I hand over to Christine to explain the role.
So this is our, we call it our journey. It's about a change communication board, and we wanted to call it our journey because we felt that change was a journey, not only to get you from point A being the current state to point B being where you aspire to be. But also, change is quite an emotional journey for a lot of people, and it affects people emotionally as well as in a practical sense. And so I think we need to have an understanding and appreciation that it can affect people in different ways when they're going through change. So moving on to the other areas, we've got project name, and it's important that in the ever-changing world of aviation, there's a huge number of projects that are going on at any one time. So people need to be able to identify which, let's have a name for it so that people know which changes that we're talking about. We've got the project purpose and the objective there, which with the purpose, it's about identifying what change is required and why it's required. And the objective is around creating that vision for our teams, and it helps to share that why as well. And it also feeds into our ADCAR model around the awareness and the desire to change. We've got our project sponsor and our project team there, so that people know who they can go to get additional support, get further information, ask questions, and give any feedback around that change. And then we basically move on to the guts of the board, which is, so we'll start off with the action items. So that is around basically what is going to happen and who's responsible for making it happen, and the date that it's going to be completed by. This will feed into, it creates accountability to start with, but it feeds also into the knowledge and the ability piece of the ADCAR model. And we've also got there around when the next meeting is, so people can get an understanding of when they can expect to receive another update on a change that's happening. We've got the progress to date as well, so we felt that it was really important to include this because often when we're going through periods of significant change, it can be quite a lengthy process. And so we felt that it was really important to be able to reflect back on how far it is that we've come and take a breath. And also it just helps to reinforce the changes. So if people do have feedback, it kind of reminds them of, takes them back to why it is that we're doing what we're doing, and helps to keep us on track. The next slide. So this is our project purpose and the objective there. So that is around what is going to happen and who's responsible for making it happen, and the date that it's going to be completed by. We've got the project sponsor and our project team there, so We'll move on to the what's the next part, which is that's about looking forward, keeping the team updated about what they can expect to see in the near future. And it's about having an open communication, no surprises approach to change management. And then the last piece, which we felt was probably one of the most important pieces, was giving our teams the ability to ask questions and provide their feedback. And through doing that, we're going to get better buy-in from our teams, a higher engagement, and ultimately that's going to help the change to stick. So we thought that this book could be used in a variety of ways. So it could be used, if you have people in various locations, you'd be able to use it through a tool like Microsoft Teams, use it digitally, and the team would just be, the project team would be responsible for going in and checking for feedback and questions and responding to that. You could also use it in an environment such as this to give an update in a team meeting or a staff update. Or you could use it in a high traffic area such as a lunchroom or a briefing area, so that it's like a conversation starter around lunchtimes.
So to sum up, change management is a huge subject. Ron's alluded to all the different reasons why change occurs, and it's an everyday occurrence for us, and some changes are larger, some changes are smaller. Can you split? Yeah, thank you. We've seen what happens when communication goes wrong, and so this board is about the importance of communication and effective communication. It's a simple tool, but we feel that if people adopt it in their business units, it can improve that communication and the buy-in of staff. So we avoid the emotional distress of change and the other negative effects that change brings up. And we move to a more empowered staff, a consulted staff, and a higher engagement and culture that comes with it. Staff and teams that feel empowered and consulted are more likely to be positive and proactive during their change transition, and a successful change project provides values for our leaders, for our teams, for our business, and most importantly, for our customers. And that concludes our presentation.
Well done, team. Let's invite our guests to comment, reinforce, support, provide positive feedback, as well as ask questions.
I think it's awesome. I love how simple it is, and that it could be a very visual tool up for people to see. One thing that I think would be really good to it is what the action item is and why that change is happening as well.
That's what we've got up here.
Sorry, did I miss that?
No, project purpose and objectives.
Oh, sorry, is that where you put the why?
Yeah, this basically defines what change is going to be implemented and the reason for the change.
Oh,
because you can implement a change, but there needs to be a reason for why we're changing things. And if people understand the need for it, they will support it.
I couldn't agree more. So excellent. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Well done.
It actually, this is really good. It actually aligns with obviously a project that I'm involved in at the moment, which is now split into many little projects. And we've got something similar to this. It's got just about every field except when it gets to your questions and feedback. We actually haven't got that at each project level. So I think that's a really good thing for me to take out of this and get that added. And we've also, in our, we call them jet scopes, which are basically this, but they're a lot more complex than behind it. And no one looks at that complexity. It's the front end that's the important thing. So
I think like I said, the front end is important because it shows the accountability. I mean, if there's no accountability, then you basically set yourself up to fail.
Yeah.
Because nobody believes in it anymore.
Yeah, it's very visual and very easy to read and take in, but I just like that feedback as well.
Yeah, because it could actually be used as a consultation on proposed changes rather than just in the changes. decision to change has been made?
Well, you need to be, I mean, you've got a plan to, implement something, but there might be something else that influences it again or changes in the meantime, so you need to be able to adapt it, and you can bring this board here and show, it's flexible enough to adapt it on the way.
I was also thinking about the HPE environment, and it could actually be used in that environment quite effectively as well, because there's a number of changes that do come off those discussions, but sometimes they're small changes. Yes, a lot of actions from small pieces.
And that your question's feedback could be looked back into the action item, and that means that it shows that the individuals are listened to, and reinforced.
Closed loop, yeah.
I was actually, we're just going through a process at the moment, and I was actually thinking how effective it would have been for us. Yeah.
I've got some handouts.
We can send you links.
It's a fantastic visual to really engage people. Do you think, and in what ways, will it affect potential negativity about change? How might that work?
I could speak to that. The negativity normally comes from the unknown and the fear of what the change is going to affect them in human nature. We don't like the unknown. We like to know what's going on and what's in it for me. So this type of board will communicate, hopefully, that and alleviate some of that negativity and allow for people to respond back. It's a two-way communication board, which is that's important.
Good. And my last question is, like the last group, what was the catalyst in your thinking that made you think this is what we need?
I think the basis for it was that we needed to keep it simple. Simple for everybody to understand, not take all the complexity out of it. And also that people understand the need for change. And that's reflected in the board as well. So all the elements that would support or the desire to change are there on the board.
Yeah.
And accessibility too. So it's got to be accessible to everyone and in different mediums as well. So some people like to stand on the computer and obviously send feedback. Other people like to stand up in a room and scream at the top of their lungs what they think. So it just gives everyone that opportunity, whether it's electronic, whether it's on paper. There's just so many ways in which it can be presented, and getting everyone involved.
But I think it's also important not to just to scribble something on the board and then leave it. I think it's also important to have a conversation around the board, because that's why you can convince people why to support change or get feedback on what we're doing wrong and implement further changes. So it's important to just not to produce something like this paper on the board, but also have a real conversations with it.
Yeah, because then when you're looking at it, it's the idea on the board that's wrong, not the person you're talking to.
There's currently some tools within a change management profile, but what I like about this, and you referred to it before, is just the simplicity of it. Because by the time you get through a number of those layers, it's probably too much for just a general comms for it to be used as just a communication board. So this is really effective.
Anything from you, Paul?
I'll just say great work. It's obviously really relevant for us, probably the whole business really, but certainly all of the projects that have gone on at Christchurch, heavy maintenance and that Warwick's leading. So I think you've probably got a project sponsor here in Warwick in terms of taking something away here and plagiarising. I mean, you've offered, that's the value of this as a group from Leadership Every Day, but what you're providing to everyone here that can help us as we go through the change. So, great work.
Thank you.